Hello creators, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're doing well. So as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be telling you why I feel like you should venture into pattern making. So I've noticed that with a lot of beginners and even like people that sew normally, they kind of tend to not like pattern making, maybe because it looks like too difficult, it's not straightforward. So I just decided to let my people in, okay, my fellow creators in on the benefits of pattern making, because there are a lot of benefits. Okay, pattern making is a very good way to sew clothes. So yeah, I'm just going to be telling you all the benefits of pattern making and why you should venture into pattern making if you're shying away from it. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video. All right, so the first benefit that I have here is that it is easier to cut using pattern making. And wait, I know you may be wondering that how is it easier? If you just cut on the fabric, it's easier. But if you don't know, there are a lot of fabrics that have issues. Okay, there are a lot of fabrics that like maybe like with chalk, it's just hard to like make your markings on, like with like fabrics that like move around a lot, like silk, like chiffon, like all those fabrics, it's quite hard to like just put it there. And when you're making all these markings on your fabric, you may tend to be struggling a lot. You have to pin it down first of all. You have to like make sure that you're marking properly. Like it's just like a lot of work. But like if you're working pattern, you're working paper, okay, so you would know that okay, you won't really need always like adjusting the fabric, making sure that it's okay. So first of all, it's going to like save you more time, although you would still need more time to cut it on the pattern and also cut it on the fabric. But in the real sense of time, it's just quicker and easier to use patterns, honestly. And then it can be preserved and reused over time. Okay, so with fabrics, once you trace it out on fabric and cut it out, you won't be able to keep the fabric for future use, okay, because it's fabric, okay, and you would want to sew it. Once you cut it, you want to sew it. But with patterns, you can have it there. Once you trace it out, like once you cut it out, once you draft it, you can keep it there. You can reuse it, especially with like blocks, with like basic bodice block, basic trouser block, basic skirt block, basic sleeve blocks. Like these are like patterns that you can just have and just keep, so that whenever you need them, you could use them, and it would just be easier for you rather than having to measure every time you want to sew a new dress. But if you have all these patterns put together, and not just even like blocks, okay, with also like other like types of dresses, with all the dresses that I've made, I kept the patterns for it, okay, so that in case I want to sew something like that, or I want to sew something similar to that, I could. And that takes me to the next point, which is that you can modify the pattern to fit the particular outfit that you're going for. That's just better, because it just allows for like flexibility and for you to like let your creative juices flow, okay, because you have the pattern already and you can just decide, okay, I want to add something to this, I want to remove something from this, and it will just be like easier for you to for you to maneuver. And then also, once you get your basic bodice blocks, like I said before, your basic bodice block, your basic sleeve pattern, your basic trouser, your basic skirt, you can modify these things to create wonderful new designs, okay. Like you can use like the slash and spread method, you can use this to like create yoke, you can just do so many different things with it, because it's pattern, okay. I'm working with patterns for this. It's not like fabric that you can't like cut and like slash and spread, because you're just wasting your fabric. But if you're working with patterns, that's paper, okay, so you would know that okay, you have the luxury of doing so, and it would just allow for your creativity to just flow, because you would have the chance to be able to do all these things without having to worry about wasting your fabric, okay. So that is just another benefit of pattern making. All right, so another benefit of pattern making is that you can get patterns online and you can use them to sew, especially if you just want to get into sewing and you just actually even want to try to sew something, and maybe you've been working with a lot of no sew DIY projects and you want to actually like sew a dress, like an actual dress. There are a lot of patterns online. So I noticed that in Nigeria, we don't really like work on that. We don't really like use pattern like online, like we don't really buy patterns online. And I don't know why, but maybe because no one is really doing it in Nigeria that much, I guess. I'm not sure, don't quote me, but I just don't know anyone that is doing actually like selling patterns online. But like abroad, there are a lot of pattern making websites that you can get from. Like I know like Etsy, I know one for sure, Etsy. Like a lot of people actually like make patterns for different sizes, so you could just order one and just get it and just actually like put it on your fabric and just cut and sew. So if you're like someone that just wants to actually like sew things for the first time, sew dresses for the first time, actual dresses that have different pieces, and you just want to have that experience before you now end up trying to draft your own patterns yourself, then pattern making is good for you, okay. So you don't have to shy away from it. Those are ways that you can learn as well. You can actually use pattern making to learn as well as a beginner, yes, if you get patterns online, and then after that you just get better, and then after a while you'll be able to get better to be able to draft yourself using YouTube tutorials like mine. Yes, I'm telling myself, using YouTube tutorials like mine, to just actually like make your own patterns and make your own pattern of whatever you want to. So Then if you're a sewist and you sew for other people and you've not jumped on pattern making, sis, where are you? Where have you been? You need to hop on it, okay? Because I remember, this is a quick story. So while I was learning how to sew, my teacher, like the person that I was interning under, she wasn't really working with like patterns, okay? Like she always used to like cut it on fabric, that was how I learned. That was like my first introduction to sewing. I wasn't introduced to sewing from patterns. I was introduced to sewing from actually like marking it on fabric and cutting it out. But later on, I started like creating patterns, and I remember that she was just so like mind busted that what has she been waiting for her whole life? Like, this is so amazing, because once you're sewing for like people, once you already have like particular sizes, you know that okay, for this size you can just pick up this pattern and you have your dress, okay? And it's not just even about size, it's also about design. If you like create particular designs for different sizes, it's just easier for you, rather than having to always like measure it on the fabric and cut it out like every single time you want to make for a client. But if you just take your time and just draft the patterns for different sizes of different styles, then you're good to go. You're good to go, and it's just easier like that. So yeah, that is just one thing that you should keep in mind. If you're shying away from pattern making, don't dull on yourself. Period. All right, okay? So another benefit is that it allows for you to cut your fabric with minimum wastage, because that we have pattern pieces, so you can just arrange your pattern pieces in a way that you would minimize wasting fabric. But if you're like drafting it on the fabric directly, you won't have like the luxury of doing that, okay? Because you have to like fold it in a certain way and just cut it straight. But if you're working with pattern pieces, you can arrange them in different places so that all the pattern pieces will be able to accommodate the particular fabric span that you're working with. And yeah, that is just another benefit, because it's just better for you to just not waste fabric and just all right, so the next benefit of pattern making that I have here is that mistakes can be easily corrected. So with fabric, right, when you use your chalk or whatever a marking device that you're using, with fabric it's quite hard for you to like be able to like change the lines, okay? Change the lines that you've created. With pattern, it's paper, so if you make a mistake, child, just take another paper and just continue, because I can't count how many times I've made a mistake and I just had to discard the paper and just start all over again. So yeah, pattern making just allows you to be able to make some mistakes, so you don't have to worry about because I know how it can be. I know how scary it can be, when you just get a new fabric and just like, hey, I want to cut this fabric, I hope I cut it well. So in order for you to just like get yourself out of that mindset that, hey, I hope I don't make a mistake, because when you're actually scared like that, that is when you end up making mistakes. Honestly, when you're scared like that, that is when you end up making mistakes. So like with pattern making, you can just draft it, and with pattern making you can always like cross check it after you do it, okay? Because like it's going to be like straight lines, because with patterns now you're going to use markers, so it's going to be actually like very bold for you to see. With fabrics, especially with fabrics that have a lot of patterns, it may not be like that, okay? It may not be like that. Like with pattern making, you can vividly see all the markings that you're doing, so you'll be able to detect if there are any issues, and it will just be like an easy process without the mind-boggling thing of like, hey, I hope I don't make a mistake, I hope I don't make a mistake. So yeah, that is just another benefit. So hop on pattern making, baby, hop on pattern making, baby. Then the next benefit that we have here is that it can be tested before actually sewing the actual fabric, okay? So with patterns, we can draft it on pattern and then use all these like fabrics that we call like muslin, or like all these fabrics that are not actual fabrics, that are just used to like make mock-ups. And yeah, so that is what you can use it to do. So you can just draft it on your pattern, and even when you draft it on your pattern, you'll be able to see the shape coming out once you cut it. But with fabric, you're just going to like trace it out, and once you cut your fabric, you cannot reverse it, okay? You already cut it. So like that is like an issue for that, because while you're just getting into sewing, you may make a lot of mistakes, okay? You may make a lot of mistakes. So in order for you to just avoid like making mistakes on fabric and just not being able to do anything with it, then just use pattern, so that once you draft it on pattern and cut it out, the shape is already going to show. You would already know that, okay, this is like the shape and all of that. So yeah, that is just another benefit of pattern making. So yeah, that is it for this video. It's quite simple and short. I just wanted to come on here because I noticed like it's kind of like a trend. Some people don't like it, but I just want to like put it out there that you could actually like venture into pattern making. It's really not that hard. Like you can just watch my videos. I have like a basic bodice block, I have a basic sleeve pattern, I also have like a basic skirt pattern, and a basic trouser pattern is going to come out soon on my channel. I think that's going to be like my next video, or like my second next video, I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, these are just things that you could just like start getting familiar with, because it's really helpful, as you see in the previous points that I've made. Pattern making is just a way of making sewing easier for you. One, easier for you. Two, less stressful for you. You don't have to worry about struggling with fabric and all of that. So yeah, I hope you resonated with this video, and I hope that if you're not on the pattern making trend, I made you join the pattern making trend. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also make sure that you subscribe if you're not already. I post tutorials and I also post, you know, educational videos like this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.